It's Feisty Fridays again. I have a new background. I got a little haircut, and I want to talk to you about the stone. So, there's a story I've been carrying around for a long time. And, well, lately I've realized that it actually might help me explain the feisty human better than almost anything else that I could tell you. So, here's the story. Imagine I had a stone and I put it in your hand. Nothing particularly remarkable about the stone. It's not necessarily polished very nicely. It's not a precious stone. It's not something you'd really want to put behind glass. It's just a stone. And then, after I've put this stone in your hand, I ask you this question. What's it worth? Maybe it's worth nothing. But maybe the stone is worth something. Maybe whatever someone is willing to pay for it is what the stone is worth. But now I want you to imagine that I tell you that this stone came from the beach where your grandparents took you every summer when you were a kid. Or that your child picked up this stone and gave it to you on the very best day of your life. Or that you actually carried this stone in your pocket through one of the hardest years you ever survived. And that's the stone that I put in your hand. Same stone, completely different answer. Because if I asked you, what's the stone worth to you now? You would answer that question very differently. But I want to ask you, what changed? The stone is the stone is the stone. What changed? Well, the stone didn't change. The story did. And I think humans do something remarkably similar. We tend to spend our lives collecting stories about what makes us valuable. You know, I'm smart, I'm successful, I'm useful, I'm a good parent, I'm a good partner, or I'm the one people can rely on. I'm accomplished. I'm strong. I'm the person who gets shit done. Definitely. You know, some of those stories are wonderful. And some of them are true. They're true of me, they're true of you, they're true of all of us. But they're still just stories. And I think the trouble begins when we confuse the story of our value with the existence of our worth. Because stories change, careers change, relationships change, people change. Hey, you know what else? Hair changes, bodies change. My and your capacity changes. Circumstances around us change. And sometimes life comes along and takes away the very thing that we were using as evidence that we mattered. I share this with you and this story because this is what happened to me. And that's when things got really, really uncomfortable. Because if I'm worthy because I'm successful, then who am I when I fail? If I'm worthy when I'm useful, then who am I when I'm the one that needs help? If I'm worthy because I'm strong, then who do I become when I fall apart? if I'm only worthy because I'm needed, then who am I when nobody needs me anymore? These are the real questions about success and usefulness and strength that I've had to ask myself. But I've discovered that they're actually questions about my identity. And I know these questions so well because I have lived them. I've spent plenty of my life collecting evidence. I've got the credentials, the achievements, the roles, the responsibilities, and the recognition. As I wipe the tears from my eyes, I am walking proof of amazing things. Look what I can do. Look what I've built. Look how much I can carry. Surely this means something about me. You know what? It does. But it only tells you the things I've done. And it can point to the things I've learned. And it can tell you something about how I've chosen to spend my time. But one thing it doesn't tell you is what I'm worth. And that's the distinction I've become increasingly interested in. And that's what's at the heart of the feisty human. Because I don't think our work is to become people without stories. I love my stories. And I've got some doozies of stories. Some of them I've shared with you, some of them I have yet to share. And you know what? I love what I've accomplished. I love what I have learned. I love what I continue to learn. I enjoy being ambitious. And I'm not interested in pretending that none of that matters, but I am interested in putting all those things in their proper place. Because the story can add meaning to the stone, but it doesn't make the stone exist. And for me, that's what I'd forgotten about myself. Maybe that's something you've forgotten about you. So many of us, including me, spent so much time asking, what have we accomplished? Who needs me? Who approves of me? What do I contribute? Am I doing enough? But I know I had forgotten that there was a human being underneath all of that before any of those things began. And the human being didn't need a resume or a title or an audience or anyone's permission to have worth for that matter. So this week, I want to leave you with something slightly different. I want you to find a stone. Seriously, find a stone. And I'm going to find a stone too. And I'm going to bring my stone to next Friday. Where are you going to find your stone? I don't know. Pick one up on a walk. Grab one from your garden if you have one. Find one on a beach if you can get to one. But find a stone. And then I want you to put it somewhere where you'll see it on a regular basis for the next week. And when you catch yourself proving or performing or comparing or wondering whether you're enough, I want you to look at that stone and let it remind you that the story about you may change, but the worth about you does not. That's the work. The work is not becoming worthy because it's important to remember that you already are worthy. So stay feisty, stay human, and I will see you next Friday with that stone.